Hello and welcome, everybody. BAMS 9 in the books. A champion has been crowned, and they go by the name of T.GangBang. Not a very close third place game. Congrats to T.GangBang. And for that late surge, second place, Derek's Rad team, not changing it, confirmed, solidified name. With, although taking second place, really racked up a lot of points in terms of different categories we had for ways to make money, being the number two, not only second place, but number two money getter of the season. So congrats, T.GangBang, their second championship for BAMS. Welcome to the club. So good stuff all around. I'm going to pass it on to the commish to put a punctuation on this season as he pours what looks to be yet another delightful beverage.
We went deep in the cellar this week for the final vlogcast of the season. This is a barley wine aged for 2 years in Old Fitzgerald bourbon barrels, so you know it's good. Tim, I don't know if you asked me how I'm doing, but I'm great. The only way I could be better is if I won the championship, which I didn't, but that's okay because we are here celebrating another successful season. 9 seasons in the books. Put things in perspective. It's a long time. It's a cool thing we got going. Couldn't have more fun this season. I feel like it was a banner year for us, and like we say, BAMS is always getting better every day. So I'm great. Gonna lay out this vlogcast here for us. Only a couple matchups to talk about, so I thought that we mix things up and kind of go back to the Cabo podcast and do a top 10 moments of the entire season. I think the fans will like that. So yeah, a couple minutes here, talk about the championship. Huge win for O'Toole and the T.GangBangs, and Derek, nothing to scoff at, with a great season himself. So let's get into it. I don't have it up because we're winging it. It's the last day of the season. It's like the last day of school. Do you have the matchup in front of you? Do you want to kick things off?
I do, and I had to do a double take here, pulling up the matchup because it has T.GangBang as a 99% chance to win, and I had to just think of, oh yeah, the Burrow game now has been killed.
Yes.
So it was I think Yahoo is still working under the impression that it's postponed and there's something that can happen there. I would say that is an interesting wrinkle to this that I saw come into play in another fantasy league that I am in, that commissioners had to deal with the decision around how to handle if players were from championship games or third place games were involved in that Monday night game. Damar Hamlin, good news with him that he's bouncing back. That was some of the scariest stuff I've ever seen. So
not dead.
So that is one interesting facet here, that the Burrow stuff did not come into play, and that T.GangBang locks it in. Yeah, when we look at this, I think probably going back to last week, it was probably kiss of death that I said that Derek was in the pole position to take this one. That was the death nail there. So let's run through it. But like, if we go on Derek's Rad team, I don't think you look any further than the top 2 players. So Kirk Cousins, he played the Green Bay Packers. He did a very poor job quarterbacking, leading that team. It was a disgusting game. Green Bay wins 41-17. It all starts and ends there. 11 points from Kirk Cousins. I think got some garbage points in the fourth quarter, but it was brutal. And then Justin Jefferson was completely shut down throughout that entire game. Green Bay Packers had a solid defensive setup, and 2 points from Justin Jefferson. So it's just like that stack was it. That was done. I mean, he's got Godwin getting them 17. Garrett Wilson and the Jets just being super sad. Like that's what really killed this team, was just like, if it's just quarterback play for the Jets and the Vikings, you're losing like 30 points alone just from what's happening there easily. So loses by 10 to T.GangBang. T.GangBang did not need much from Burrow. 6 points, just having only played basically a half of a quarter. Davante Adams comes back to life as they sit Carr, and Jared Stidham goes off. 29 points for Davante there. Josh Jacobs, 18.6. So it's just like the Raiders, when things were getting very, very sad, and that probably played into my analysis of how things would go this week, vibes through the roof with Stidham coming in for Carr. And you have the Vegas Raiders going blast off against the best defense in the league of the San Francisco 49ers. Dawson Knox didn't even need to do anything. So, I mean, that's one thing that my final note here of going blast off with Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs, not even needing the points from Burrow and Knox. This is just a well-earned victory. When you look at the scoreboard and you say T.GangBang 92 against Derek's Red Team 82, oh, this was a letdown of some sort. T.GangBang had many more points to be scored, didn't need them. Congrats to the champ.
Yeah, I'm surprised it was as close as it even was, 10 points only, because Derek's situation is just kind of like, you throw your hands up. You put the best team you can out there. He even doubled up on tight ends, put Cole Kmet out there. And that matchup, Bears at Detroit, should have been a 100-point game. Cole Kmet, 9 points, not bad, but Kelsey, you have one of his letdown games. You can't have that. And then, like you said, yeah, the stack of Kirk Cousins, Jefferson needing to win that game in Green Bay, just unreal with Jefferson. For him not to do, was Jair Alexander who was shit talking all week, and he just completely backed it up. That was a cool.
And as they went down in that game, it was like, okay, at some point, Kirk's just going to be chucking it up, and like they're down 14 to they're down 21. Like, all right, Vikings, you might as well just throw it up to your playmaker, and it just never happened. So it's just a depressing state. You also mentioned underperformance from Kelsey, which he had like 8 or 9 points. That's just funny that like it would be nice for anybody else's tight end in the league to have 8 or 9 points on any given week, but Kelsey, you're relying on it. And I'd have to look at the weekly totals most recently, but I want to say he's been on a spell of like 5 weeks of not scoring a touchdown. So interesting finish for the number one tight end by the widest of margins when you need him down the stretch here in the championship, just not showing up.
Well, you know why his numbers have been going down the last month? It's because stud Jerick McKinnon has been taking over for Kansas City. He's like setting records. I don't know what they are. I'm not prepared for that, but it was 5 receiving touchdowns in 5 weeks in a row. That's exactly how you're supposed to say that, by the way. Unreal. And I know it didn't pan out to be successful for Polanka, but it did help him get to where he was in the playoffs. So my last point on the championship is a what a game segment, possibly the last what a game segment of the season. We talk about how good our team is. We're biased. We see success when we look at our lineups. Every week we convince ourselves that we're going to have a great overachieving week, based on the numbers that they project for us. Every week we psych ourselves into that. And we completely, we've complimented him throughout the season, but the GangBangs team was stacked.
Yes.
And I don't think Burrow, Adams, Jacobs, and Chubb, who I don't know have the numbers in front of me, but easily top if they're not top 5 running backs, top 10. Judy had a good season. I mean, just Adams, Burrow, and those 2 running backs alone is ridiculous. So I just feel like, we're so focused on our teams and whatnot, and in hindsight, just unreal team. What a game.
And I think it's like O'Toole is like just nose to the grindstone. Like he's not talking shit. He's not stirring pots. So like, I think that's the other thing was that he wasn't pissing anybody off in the text thread, wasn't making any enemies. So he just kept his head down, kept it quiet, and just worked his way right into a championship.
Yeah. And then his record payout pushing $1,000, $925, which yes, it's expected as the buy-ins get higher, but I think the highest one before that was in the 600 range. So huge season for him. Derek too had a great season, second place, Survivor, unlucky, all that. He kept things fun for himself. Third place game, it was a blowout. Shay said, "I don't belong here," and he made it known. Do you get a sponsor for this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, Shay's Heaters, and it's great. Much like you close out a season, you close out a coitus session. What do you need? You need to smoke, my friend. Okay, so this is brought to you by Marlboro Menthols. Shayski, ending on a high note, a climax, many would say. 148 points scored, just violently shut the door on Polanka and his phenomenal run in the last few weeks. Shayski, who finished the regular season in that number 2 spot, got himself the bye. Team's pretty nasty.
I didn't realize. I know Evans had a good game, Mark Evans, but 42 points. Unreal. I know that game. I know Brady had a great game and they finally showed up, but 42 points out of wide receiver is hilarious after not doing anything.
Yeah, that's been the story on the Bucks throughout the year, is just like unimaginative play calling. And Evans, if we pulled up his scoring for the last 2 months, you would not see a lot of bright spots. And it was just Bucks being like, season's on the line. We could operate off of a game plan, or we could just say TB12, just throw the ball 50 yards, air yards down the field a bunch of times to this big guy. And they did it, and it resulted in 41 points.
Here's week 9, which if I'm correct is the week before Cabo. So that's how that far back was. Here's his numbers leading up to last week: 7, 8, 4, 7, 6, 10, 4, 42. Love it.
Oh, and you had Eckler. I mean, that is Eckler the number 1 fantasy player.
That 30-point performance had to put him close. I love when players just embrace fantasy football and like talk about it and say, I'm going to win, and just
he
back
is
it up.
outspoken.
Yeah. Yeah. Eckler's number 1, and credit to your trade earlier. McCaffrey was number 2. Jacobs 3. So, yeah.
I mean, you do what you can, but yeah, Eckler, that was like, I think it was a blur of a holiday season, I would say. But I just know that when they were checking in on scoring updates, it was just like, oh, Eckler took this like 60-yard carry to the house. Like, so getting big plays from his big time players, like that was the takeaway for Shayski. A couple of soft spots in there, but when you have like 3 different guys going for 26, 30, 42, like that's gonna do it for you. So
yeah,
148, you're gonna win most weeks, and this was no exception.
Yeah. I'm over that. I'm past that now. 2 things I'm going to say is in the blog, I got all the money payouts and whatnot, the stands and that everyone's been paid out. If you have not, or you think you're wrong, look again, because you are wrong. And if you look again and I'm wrong, let me know. Finally, we talked about O'Toole's team and those running backs. They finished the season at 3-6. Yeah, you're gonna win.
That's how you do it.
What's this? I don't know what that means. I wrote down some notes. Okay, enough of that. Championship's over. Top 10 moments of the season.
Which is fun because we were texting about this, and I was like, I'm doing actual work today, so I don't have time to wrap my head around what this list is, and you're all over it. And I thought about it. I'm like, you've actually been writing blogs each week, so like might stick in your brain a little bit better. So you got the list. You'll be the play-by-play guy. I'll just add some color, but let's do it.
Okay. Number 10. We're gonna start at 10, obviously. Our drawings. Now let me provide some explanation to this, some detail. Drawings spelled JRAWINGS. Great moment. Jay stepping up and starting making these images for our broadcast. Awesome. Hilarious every time. And I want to keep that going, and it's got to be in this list. So number 10 on our list is drawings.
And I would add to that, just like for our vlogs that we put out on YouTube, to have those thumbnails is huge. Like those are sweet. So
yes,
Jay, asked by nobody, just on his own accord, going for it. We love it. Appreciate it, sir.
Yeah. Long overdue. The most probably involved BAM team over the years. You know, he came right in after a few year hiatus last year and just, you know, hit that ground running with the text threads, with these images. I don't know how he does it with the Photoshop or whatever he uses, but it's hilarious. I love it. And I'm going to keep inspiring him to keep doing this. So drawings, number 10. Number 9. What does that say? Man, I wish I could write. Draft. Oh, I put draft relocation to Bourbon Street.
Oh my God.
Did you play with me in the round? I can't remember. I know Ronnie was there just because he commented on what I was going to say.
I was paired up with TR. Was it me, you, TR, and Ronnie?
It may have been. The reason I only know Ronnie was with me is because, and I'm going to bring it up, is that those whatever fine people at Water's Edge just pulled a quick one on us halfway through our round, and I was on the phone with their GM while we're playing, and I don't know what I was saying, but I remember Ronnie just laughing at what I was saying to this guy while I was trying to hit an approach shot on like 13. And yes, you were playing with us in TR. Yes, so
I mean, that's why you're the commish, though. We are full of people. I'll speak for myself, who avoid confrontations at all costs, and you have no problem being very direct in laying out your thoughts. And
if it's deserved,
even if it was at a distance, I could just tell that you were bringing it. You were like not overly aggressive, but just more of like, here's the deal, man. I need this from you. And you weren't getting it. Yeah. You expressed your disgust. And then we mobilized. We found a way.
We had that girl come. The GM must have called to the cart girl and said, I got another funny story, and said, these guys are pissed. Go bring them shots or something. And she just out of nowhere, it was not a coincidence. Just like, I got fireball shots. I want to take fireball. And yeah, we took it, obviously, because free shots are free shots. And she left, and then we did too. I was laughing because before all this happened, before I even found out about it, I get a dramatic text from Growley. He's like, we're not going to have it here. You got it. We got to talk. And he's like 2 holes behind me. I thought something was so much worse wrong. And and we talked, and he's like, they might have a wedding here. But I appreciate the support. And it was just a lot of funny antics going on the draft. But yeah, no, Bourbon Street was great. It was empty, which that was a Saturday afternoon, Labor Day weekend. It was empty. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
It worked in our favor because it was as if we had paid for a private room and just had a wide open corner, set up the banner, or set up the draft board, set us up with a waiter, drinks flowing, martinis in hand. We had ourselves a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8. It's got to be on here. Some may argue it should be higher, but it's just simply put, O'Toole's second championship and winning $925. We don't need to go into too much detail just because we covered it for the first 10 minutes of this vlog cast. But just a dominating year. Second championship. Only you are the only other winner of 2 championships. So it's you are in a league of your own. There's better terms for that. I don't know.
Well, and I think so a championship is a championship. It's well earned. But on top of that, I think he was in the top 4 for like the vast majority of the season. So it was just like a wire to wire stack team making it happen. Was Devontae Adams, that was a trade, right? Or am I making that up for him to
It
acquire?
was a trade.
Huge trade.
It was a trade. Huge. Yes. I remember seeing that and yeah. Maybe screwed up my undie pants a little bit after I saw that.
And this is a fun fact because when we're talking about, or you made an earlier reference to our Cabo vlog, but I did revisit my mid-season rankings. And I
meant to do that. I'm glad you did. Did you?
I continue to be accurate. Just like I had predicted last week that Derek's rad team would be victorious. I had T.GangBang is 3 and Derek's rad team is 9. So I continue to crush it, baby.
Take that W though. Take that W with T.GangBang being up there.
It was bad. So I wanted to look at it and be like, did I beat Zintac, who was more accurate? And it's like, I don't need to check. I mean, you'll check after the fact and maybe we could toss it in the text thread, but like I was way off. So like you had to have really tanked to not win that one.
Oh, I'm going to look at that. And I meant to look at it, but I'm glad you did. So that's a good reminder for me. This is kind of giving me some reminders to talk about some other things. New segment.
Oh,
it's not too late for a new segment. Put things in perspective. Take a moment. Maybe take a moment's a better name for segment. Take a moment to put things in perspective. I've won. We're 9 years in. Think about 9 years. 2014. Peyton Manning was the first pick of the draft.
Oh,
I've won.
That was Ford. That had to be Ford, right?
Yeah, it was Ford. Yeah, it's Ford. I've won the championship 1 year. You are the most successful team in BAMS history. And you've won twice.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
No.
We need to cherish these moments. O'Toole, if he's watching this, when he's watching this, cherish your victories because winning in fantasy football, there's a lot of success and a lot of up and down. And again, going back to what I said earlier, psyching yourself up for having a good team and enjoying the ride. Championships don't come often. A lot of people haven't even won them in BAMS. Shea, Ford, other people. Did Ford win? I don't even know. I just went to that. I don't think he did. But it was, I was like, yeah, 9 years is a long time. It's only going to get longer and it should be appreciated.
Yeah. And to tack on to that, I think, I mean, you mentioned that I've made a good amount of championships, but it's like, I'm the poster boy. Last 3 years, no bueno. So it's just like, you never know when it's going to come back around.
Right.
And that kicks off a bonus segment within a segment. Inception segment is that's depressing. And it's when we were at your place for the holiday hang. And I think at one point you were like, you got any keepers for next year? And I was like, buddy, yeah. Like Jacoby Myers, he's gonna be staying on the Patriots. Tom Brady, he'll come back as the quarterback. That's big. Isaiah Pacheco, rookie running back. I'll keep him. He'll be a 11th, 10th rounder. And I'm running through things, and then I go, and that's the dream. And you go, yeah, that's the dream. So that's depressing. That's depressing.
I said that's the dream.
Yeah.
I said a lot.
I said that's the dream, and you're like, huh, dream. So it's like, I'm like, oh man, so sick that in like the 10th round, I'm gonna be keeping like a wide receiver 23. It's not good. We got to rebuild for next year. But just wanted to touch on that when we're talking about how championships can be fleeting and you never know when you're gonna find your way back in. Yeah, that's right.
All right, here's a spin zone. You had everything in your favor in the draft this year, and you didn't finish like you would like. Now you think that you're at a disadvantage next year. George Costanza, do the opposite.
Yeah,
Let's go. All right. Last point on number 8 is we have a new rivalry. Most people don't know this because most people won't look back into previous BAMS years. Jim O'Toole, we already talked about him winning his second championship. Do you know who he beat for his first championship?
Is this one of those fun facts?
I will say it was a red team.
Oh, no.
Derek is 0-2 against O'Toole in the championship.
Oh, that was excellent.
I bet they don't even know that.
No. They want to be friends. They want to talk to each other anymore.
They will now.
You just broke a friendship, buddy.
Yeah, I love it. Rivalry week next year. That's a chalk. Okay. I don't know how much time we have left. We have 7 more points to make. So number 7 is the quarterfinal Monday night.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm surprised it's not higher, but that was the greatest drama. And I mean, you can go back to that vlog to check it out. But yes, I was glued to the TV with no rooting interest whatsoever, and it was absolute chaos of Kyler Murray dead. Okay, well, this is baloney squeezes being like, well, my season is over. Ramondre Stevenson for Derek's Rat Team dead. Okay, we're back. James Conner, and I think James Conner went down like for maybe it was just for a play or something, but it was just like, are the 3 most important players in this game all going to go down with injuries? But no, James Conner comes back grinding, put up maybe like 25 points that week, and it was a smidge short, and just like I pretty much know for a fact I won't see fantasy drama like that again in my life. It was everything.
It was probably the best few hour moment in BAM's history as far as, drafts aside.
Yep.
And 2 points on this. One, this is why we're the best fantasy football vlogcast there is because I had no idea the details. And so you just chiming in there with all like this sequential sequence of everything that happened throughout the game. Just made this. And the second point is kudos to Derek and Pete, and if anyone else contributed that I'm missing that night. The texts were fantastic. I know Grimmer was about to jump off this was also a few days right before BAM's Christmas that Pete's like, I'm not coming. Just
It was
super depressed.
And like it was great at the holiday event, like checking in with him and being like, so like what was the tone of that text? He was like, no, I was dead serious. Like I was not in any condition.
Shit,
So,
we have 9 minutes. We're going
we
down.
got Chris. Let's go.
Number 6, De'Ami Brown.
Oh yes.
I mean, everyone knows it.
3rd round wide receiver to Shaysky, took 3rd place in the league. Just didn't matter. Found a way. But I think very clearly was meant to be AJ Brown, who was on my roster. You see the Brown sticker, you grab it, you throw it on. What I liked is like I didn't distinctly hear Shay admit that he made a mistake or that like he was meaning to take AJ Brown and instead took De'Ami Brown. And that's sticking to your guns. I love that.
So yeah, I'm looking at the time. I'm going to go a minute each one. We got 30 seconds left for this. My point on that is going to be, I was in a text, us U of I guys. I'm pretty sure it's just us. Yeah. Shay, Grolly, and me this week. And I think Grolly made a comment. He's like, Shay, that lost you the championship. I hope you know. just an aggressive, blunt comment. I saw that and was just like, oh my God.
Turn the knife. And it gave entertainment because there were flashes from De'Ami Brown throughout the season. So it was immediate text thread like De'Ami Brown watched, he scored. So yeah, it was wild.
Yes. Number 5, vlogcast beginnings. BAMS always getting better. This is amazing. I don't care if anyone, maybe 3 other people think this is amazing. Just kidding. 10 other people think this is amazing, but this is fantastic. It's a great way to recap everything. I thought it was a great asset to the league. It's gonna keep going moving forward, and yeah, good stuff. Go.
And when we said top of the dome, I was thinking top of the dome of how I would do these moments. You had them written down. Great. I did not want to miss this as one of the moments, and it's pulling back the curtain here, but us doing a podcast and then you shooting me a text being like, can we switch to video this year? And I was like overwhelmed by that thought. Like, oh, I don't know how we're going to do that. And then the discovery that through recording Zooms, it automatically records video. And we could have been doing this all of last year.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And then it made it so easy. And we said, okay, we're doing videos from now on. So that was the birth of the vlog, was us discovering we could have done this a long time ago.
And if you guys love it, just get ready because it only gets better. Next year will be cool. Number 4, BAMS Christmas. We got 40 seconds. Yeah, it was a great day. We took a picture of us all smoking cigarettes. Shay was in his element. We were not. I got pretty drunk. I think a lot of people got pretty drunk. We came up with a lottery, the Christmas lottery.
Yeah.
For BAMS moving forward.
Brilliant.
Just a great day. There was a couple people that were involved. Shay was on a bye. I was not, and I lost that week, but we'll not talk about that. You got 10 seconds. Got a quick memory? Anything that sticks out from that, or just
bets were flowing, drinks were flowing. I had to like actively try to not get smashed because the vibes were through the roof. Great pizza order from you. But I think just everybody would. Everyone was. It was vibe central, and bets were hitting. It was a great time.
Pizza was a good move, or not that pizza was a good move. Okay, you have 40 seconds to talk about number 3, which is the emergence of Shay's Heaters.
I mean, Shay's Heaters, really, I think it was born. Now we'd have to check the timeline, but did I think of Shay's Heaters before Cabo? All I know is that I had no interest in cig bombs personally, and then I go to Cabo, and Shay just embodies like everything that is great about cigarettes. And I'm like, I had no interest until I was hanging out with Shay, and I was like, actually, yeah, like cigs are the best. And hanging out with him and ripping heaters was a phenomenal, like, lifelong finding Zen, present in the moment experience of my life, an absolute honor. And from that moment on, I'm like, I'm going to be the biggest cig proponent on the planet. Had to work it in. And yeah, from there, it became anytime Shay gets a victory, we got to pump up people about Marlboro menthols.
And, yeah, 1, it's not going anywhere. I think that's a given. But 2, when we're all together for the draft next year, this obviously came into its own identity after the draft. We're all doing Chase Heater next year as a draft. Like it's gonna evolve into a thing of its own.
Just the 12-person cig break, everybody just mashed up. I'm psyched.
I had that as number 3. It's such a great asset to this league. 2 more. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Drugs. Number 2 is trade deadline bonanza.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I'm saving a couple minutes for our minute for our closing. So trade deadline bonanza. We had so many goddamn trades this year. We talked about O'Toole getting Devontae Adams. Hey, fun fact, this just came to me. He traded for Devontae Adams, won the league. 2 years ago, Commissioner traded for Devontae Adams, won the league. Folks, pay attention.
Yep.
All right, BAMS Analytics. Yeah, so many trades. We had people tanking. It's a very lopsided league. There was 3 teams that just have all the picks in the first 3 rounds. Growly sticks out, but the others as well. I think Russell has a traded for a first round pick from you
Yes.
for McCaffrey. Justified. McCaffrey's number 2 on the year, and he exceeded everything after that. So that's number 2. Not super exciting. Not a lot to talk about, so let's not waste time on it.
I think I have to go 1 point on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The trade of positions was like the pinnacle. Like when you and Growley traded 3 different positions, that was the pinnacle of the wormhole that was trade bonanza. So yeah, I mean, we had a trade that basically won the league there for T.GangBang, but the fact that we just went down like a being John Malkovich wormhole of where my brain was saying like, why are they doing this? What's the deal? And then it was for keepers. But the thought that it was reaching that level of specificity, that was for me the peak.
And there's speculation about different types of trades that I wish I could recall right now that we were like, if that ever happens, but
we gotta go.
it's gonna, again, every day, every year, BAMS getting better. Okay, number 1, we got a minute 20 to talk about Cabo weekend. I'm gonna start the podcast, the vlogcast in my room. Right now, we rush, we got work to do. I'm squeezing in a beer between this and emails with customers. Like, it's great, it's fun, we're lucky to do it. But compared to Cabo, when we were sitting at a pool, to just walk to my suite, obviously it'll never happen again. We'll never be in that situation. Growly came in, we're all drinking mojitos, talking about the top 10 moment in BAMS. We're, inebriated, just sitting in our swim trunks. Such a fun moment. And then the second point, I blended this all into one is the veto on wedding weekend.
Yes, I was like, you can't miss the veto.
Talk about it. No, we got
veto gate. Guys, a trade got vetoed, and it involved Growly, and I think it was because Growly was wheeling dealing to such a level that he was selling so much that people just had enough. An important note on Growly as he came into that Cabo vlog, just a little side comment of like picked up Kadarius Toney off waivers. Like he's just always doing shit. He's always got moves, and so I just
at like 5 a.m. Cabo time. He was on the beach with his wife, and that doesn't take anything away of anything about them on the beach. It was fucking, excuse me, it was fantastic. Him to get a notification that Tony was available or traded or whatnot, and he picked it up, and it's fantastic.
But okay. I think that's what ultimately did him in, is that he's so tuned in that like people just sometimes can just see that he's involved in a trade, just be like, I can't have him do another one. And that's basically what happened. Veto happened, and then text thread blows up. You're trying to get married. Your phone is buzzing in your pocket. It's getting hot.
Hey, we're done with the top 10. I'm gonna sign off and say that we're 9 years in, and this will be in text too if we get cut off. We're 9 years in. I appreciate everyone's involvement. I appreciate everyone's communication. You stepping on this vlogcast is more involvement, more commitment than years past. I appreciate it, partner. It's been a great year. I can't wait for the years ahead. There's